everyone, this is Marissa Redenbaugh, your Juvenile Services Librarian, and I'm here today to read you books regarding this week's theme, sports. After I'm done, Racheal will come on and give you a craft for this week. The first book we're going to read is called A Ticket to the Pennant, A Tale of Baseball in Seattle by Mark Holtzen and illustrated by John Skews. Huey had his glove, his lucky shirt, and his cap. He was all ready for the game. Now he just needed his Rainiers to win, and he needed his ticket. Today was the deciding game of the series between the Seattle Rainiers and the Los Angeles Angels, but Huey couldn't find his ticket. He had searched everywhere. Where could it be? He had it yesterday when he went shopping with his mother. He would have to retrace his steps on the way to the stadium. The game started in 20 minutes. He ran out of the house. His next-door neighbor sat listening to the radio. "Mr. Barnett, have you seen my ticket?" Huey asked. "Nope. You lost it?" Huey nodded his head yes. "Well, you're welcome to listen on the porch with us, Huey." Announcer Leo Lassen's nasal voice came over the radio. "The Rainiers and Angels are here at Sick's Stadium in Seattle, baseball fans. The Suds and Halos have taken batting practice. Pitchers are warming up. It's been a tight race for the pennant." Lassen continued to warm up the fans. "Stevens is on the hot corner. Valencia is patrolling center. Mount Rainier is a big ice cream cone over Franklin High tonight, folks." "Lemonade, Huey?" Mrs. Barnett asked. Their porch was tempting. "No thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Barnett. I gotta find my ticket." Huey ran down Dearborn to Rainier Avenue and turned left. Bus number 7 rolled by. As he scanned the ground for his ticket, the smell of Italian cooking almost distracted him. Meatballs or ravioli? Huey thought he could hear the murmur of the stadium 12 blocks away. Near the I-90 bridge, he heard Leo from a car radio. "Cretlow's off to a shaky start. 2 Angels aboard." Huey's gut tightened. After 2 more blocks, he neared Borrachini's bakery where he and his mother had stopped yesterday for bread. Maybe he left his ticket there. "Hi, Huey. Can you fetch me the tomatoes from the truck? Remo is more interested in the game," said Mrs. Borrachini, the baker's wife, rolling her eyes. "Like everyone else." Huey groaned. He needed to find that ticket, but he wanted to be a good neighbor. "Sure, Mrs. B," he said, and dashed outside. When he came in, he heard Leo again. "Another fastball for strike 3, and up come the Rainiers." Huey needed the game to go slower. Already the bottom of the inning? He had to hurry. "Did you find a ticket lying around, Mrs. Borrachini?" "I lost mine." "Oh, goodness no, Huey. I'm so sorry." "Good luck. Thank you for your help." Huey paused in the doorway to listen. "Hutch has all right-handers in the lineup tonight to face Joe Hatton, the Halos' southpaw. Baskell steps up." "Anytime, Mrs. B." Huey raced down Rainier Avenue. The street was quiet. Huey overheard Leo's voice through the window of an apartment building. "Baskell took third on a wild pitch after his double to the left. Now Ricky's up. You can't say Righty's had a hot bat this year, but let's see if he can bring Baskell home." Huey sprinted to Mutual Fish next. Had he left the ticket near the crab tank yesterday while his mother chose the trout? The bell over the door rang as he zipped in. The crowd at the stadium just 2 blocks away roared. It was so loud that Huey could hear it even after the door closed. "Why are you at the game, Huey?" asked Mr. Yoshimura. "And how was the fish last night?" "It was good, thanks," said Huey, "but I can't find my ticket. Have you seen it?" From behind the counter, Lassen's voice echoed from the radio shop. "Ready punches a little single to the left. Baskell comes across the plate. Rainiers score!" Mr. Yoshimura hadn't seen the ticket and was closing up early. The rest of the fishmongers were already at the game. After a quick goodbye, he ran on toward the stadium. A block away, he had realized he had forgotten his glove at the fish store and had to race back and get it. Huey burst onto the street. He could see Mount Rainier on the horizon. Off to the left loomed Sick's Stadium. tall and gleaming against the green hills of the Mount Baker neighborhood. The stands came into view. Cars filled the parking lot, and the fans filled wooden bleachers. Cheapskate Hill outside left field, where those who didn't or couldn't pay watched the game from the Vaca family farm, was full too. Huey zoomed past the house where Kenneth from his baseball team lived. He saw the Barrel Burger joint. It would be packed after the game with Rainier's fans and maybe even some players. A radio sat on a stack of crates at Pre's garden patch. A small crowd gathered round. Valencia is up to bat. The Filipino fly chaser looks good tonight, folks. They could use his speed on the bases. Valencia was Huey's favorite, a great hitter and fast, too. Huey even got his autograph at the Barrel once. But how could it already be the bottom of the second? Huey ran faster. He veered into a group standing along the wall in the parking lot. He saw his classmate Jane, who sometimes got in if she returned a ball to the ballpark. "What are you doing out here, Huey?" Jane hollered. "I can't find my ticket," Huey said. Jane smacked her forehead. "Unless someone hits a ball over this fence, we're not seeing nothing." It was the top of the third. This was his last place to find the ticket. He rushed to Mr. Prontera's shop. Huey saw the quickly scrawled sign, "Closed for the game." Now what was he going to do? Make a play? Now what was he going to do? A cheer went up. Was another Angels batter out? Did Balsina just make a great play in center field? He had to know. Huey grabbed his hat and swatted it against his thigh in frustration. He stretched out his hands and yelled at the sky, "Where's my ticket?" He looked down. There was his ticket, fluttering to the ground. It landed at his feet. "Well, I'll be," he said. Now he remembered he had put it in his hat the day before for safekeeping. Huey picked up the ticket and ran across the street to the front gates. The crowd cheered. "Little late, aren't ya?" the ticket taker said. "You know they're playing for the pennant today, right, kid?" Huey ran, bumping through the crowd. There they were, his Rainiers. Huey moved through the aisles to the left field bleachers. Another cheer went up. Rigetti, the infielder, ran toward first. Baskell was already crossing home plate. "Rainiers are up 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth." A nearby hot dog hustler called, "Hot dogs! Get your hot dogs!" A woman blew a piercing whistle. Huey loved it all. The manager, Hutch, watched from the steps looking over the field. Balencina stood in the dugout. Huey's friend, Pat, the bat boy, waved. "Huey, hello!" Huey's teacher, Mrs. Severson, called from one row down. "Great game, isn't it? Here, we have an extra seat cushion." He thanked her and sat down. "You're late," his teammate Kenneth said, handing Huey a bag of peanuts. Huey took a deep breath. He'd made it, and the Rainiers were ahead. But he knew better than to get too relaxed. Anything can happen in baseball. They filled out their scorecard and ate a hot dog through the fifth, shelled peanuts in the sixth, and then sang "Take Me Out to the Ballgame" and stretched during the seventh. It was still 3-0 Rainiers. At the top of the eighth, the crack of a bat put them on the edge of their seats. "A single! Looks like trouble, folks," announced Leo. Sometimes Huey wished Leo wasn't so honest. Huey, along with the rest of the crowd, cringed at yet another base hit. The Angels scored. It was 3-1. Hutch called for another pitcher, the dependable Bill Kennedy. But the ninth inning started off no better. "Fireman Bill walked him," Leo said. "The tying runs at the plate. This does not look good, Rainier fans." With one man on base, Kennedy struck out the next batter. Then he struck out another. 2 outs. The Rainiers could still win. Or they could still lose. "Not a fingernail left in the stadium, folks." Kennedy threw the pitch. A sharp grounder to third. Zernia, third baseman, dove for the ball and threw to Glenn at first, but, oh no! The ball bounced into the dirt. But Glenn stretched and dug the ball out of the dirt and into his glove. The final out! Huey and the rest of the crowd leapt from their seats. Everyone threw cushions high into the air until they fell like snow from the sky. Huey saw Mr. Borrachini, the baker, cheering. Mr. Yoshimura nearby backslapping a fellow fishmonger, and the barber, Mr. Prontera, shaking hands with Mrs. Severson. From the radio, Leo yelled, "Seattle has won the pennant!" It's the end, and it has some notes here. I think we all have a favorite team that we like to root for, and especially that we like to see win. So hopefully you enjoyed Huey's story as well. The next book that I'll be reading is called Jack at Bat by Mac Barnett and Greg Pizzoli. It is the big game. The Ladytown ladies play the big city brats. Let's root for the ladies, not the brats. The lady will pitch. Rex plays left field. Jack is the bat boy. He picks up the bats. Don't swing that bat, Jack. Jack, drop that bat. Good. Now pick it back up. That's what you do, Jack. You pick up bats. Play ball, cries the ump. Let's beat the brats. The bases are loaded. The brats are at bat. The lady throws a fastball. A brat bashes it back. A big hit to left field. Rex runs after it. Good, Rex. Fetch that ball, Rex. Yes, fetch it, Rex. Oh no, Rex runs the wrong way. The ball's in his mouth. Rex runs to the stands. He runs out of the park. Rex, fetch means bring it back. The brats round the bases. But wait, where's home plate? The brats can't score if they don't touch home plate. And home plate is gone. It should be right there, right next to the ump, right next to Jack. Jack? Jack, what's that in your shirt? That weird shape, Jack. That home plate shaped thing in your shirt, Jack. Jack, put it down. Put home plate down, Jack. We don't want to cheat. Be a good sport, Jack. That's 4 runs for the brats. 2 more hours go by. Jack takes a nap in the stands. In his dream, Jack swings a bat. Don't swing that bat, Jack. Don't swing that bat. Not even in dreams, Jack. Don't swing that bat. Your swing is too wild. Your swing is too fast. You were the bat boy. You just pick up the bats. The game is picked up. The ladies came back. Well, sort of. The comeback took place while Jack took a nap. It's the 9th. That's the end. We need 4 runs to win. The bases are loaded. There are 2 outs. We need a pinch hit. A pinch is a tight spot, and that's what we're in. We need a home run. Hey, let's call Jack in. Wake up, Jack. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, Jack. It's all up to you, Jack. Jack, pick up a bat. We need you to swing, Jack. Swing wild, swing fast. Jack picks up the bat. Jack walks to the plate. Jack points to the stands. That means, I will hit a home run. Jack, you should not do that. You should not brag, Jack. Still, that was cool, Jack. It was kind of cool to point to the stands. The pitch, a fastball. A Strike one. The fans gasp. The pitch. A curveball. A swing and a miss. That is strike two. Wow, this is tense. The pitch. A big swing. Crack. Jack breaks his bat. It's a smash hit. The ball flies to the stands. That's a home run. You did it, Jack. Now a run around the bases. That's good. That's good, Jack. The team waits at home plate to give hugs and high fives. Run to home plate, Jack. Come home, Jack. Oh no. Cracker Jacks. Don't let Jack see those snacks. Don't run for those snacks, Jack. Just touch home plate, Jack. Then the ladies will win. Jack, please come back. Okay, Jack's not coming back. He won't leave those snacks. So that means it's a tie. The ladies tie the brats. Everyone loves a tie, right? In a way, we all win? Right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think everyone wins that way? Okay. The next one is called Follow Chester. A college football team fights racism and makes history. By Gloria Respis Churchwell, illustrated by Laura Freeman. And this is a true story. So it's in our nonfiction section. One summer when Chester Pierce was about 8, his younger brother fell down a well. Chester quickly threw down a chain and with a friend's help pulled his brother up. News traveled fast in the small town of Glen Cove, New York, about Chester's brave act. He became a local hero. But Chester still lacked confidence. He felt like he was too skinny, and he definitely didn't think he was as handsome as his two brothers. Chester loved football, basketball, and music. He played the piano, accordion, and trumpet. He became his high school's first black senior class president. Chester applied to Harvard University with encouragement from his teacher. The principal doubted he'd get in, but Chester had to try. With hard work, he was accepted. His confidence grew. Chester played varsity football at Harvard. His team was scheduled to play the University of Virginia, UVA, in Charlottesville, Virginia. It was 1947 and colleges in the South didn't allow black students. Jim Crow laws kept black and white people separate. The UVA coaches thought Harvard wouldn't bring Chester. But Jackie Robinson had just broken the color barrier to become the first black person on a Major League Baseball team. Harvard knew that the United States was slowly changing. Chester's coach pulled him aside and said, "Get ready. You're going with us to UVA. You deserve to play." Chester understood that being the first black person to do something was never easy. Jackie Robinson had been spat on and called horrible names. At Harvard, Chester was called names by some white students. He didn't let that stop him. He thought about what his coach said about deserving to play. He had to stay confident. Chester's teammates understood that he was nervous. They wanted to help. "We're with you, Chester, no matter what," one teammate said. "Jim Crow laws are wrong," another teammate said. Someone else threw down his helmet. "People shouldn't try to divide us. We're one team," another protested. Chester knew the best way to fight was with his mind. He had an idea about how to stand up to racism. "Let's create a special play for on and off the field. Whenever we use the play, it means we act as one," Chester said. "Great idea. Let's call it Follow Chester," someone called out. Chester and his teammates shook hands. The play was in place. The night before they left for Virginia, Chester was still uneasy. He knew talking to his mother would help. She listened and replied, "I know you'll do your best, Chester. If your dad were still alive, he would want you to stare down all adversity with courage." Chester's confidence grew stronger. The bus ride to UVA was long. Chester gazed out the window as the bus crossed the Mason-Dixon line, the cultural boundary between North and South. The Harvard bus pulled into a service station late in the evening. Chester and his teammates came face to face with a restroom sign that read, "Whites only." They needed to use the bathroom. They stood uncomfortably on one foot, then the other. Chester started walking towards the woods. Someone yelled, "Follow Chester!" If Chester couldn't use the bathroom, none of them would. The Virginia coach met the bus. "We thought you wouldn't bring the black player. He can't sleep in any hotel, and he's sure not staying here," he said to the Harvard coach. Chester and his teammates heard every word. Chester's coach wouldn't take no for an answer, and neither would the team. After a lot of pressure, UVA provided housing for Chester. His teammates stayed with him. They stood together. Another roadblock appeared the next morning. Black people weren't allowed through the front door of restaurants in Charlottesville. Chester led the march around the back of the restaurant. "Follow Chester," the players shouted, while white patrons watched through the windows with open mouths. Game day arrived. In the locker room, Chester told his teammates, "No matter the final score, we've already won." The stadium was full. The first black player was about to play against the University of Virginia on their home turf. Even Time magazine showed up to cover the historic game. Black fans sat in a segregated section. They applauded as Harvard came onto the field, but many UVA fans booed. Chester's jersey, number 70, gently flapped in the wind. He and his teammates marched to the center of the field. The breeze was at their backs. There were faint cheers and some horrible shouts. Chester turned and faced the black crowd. He looked up at the clear blue sky. He thought about his family and his team. Chester raised his right hand proudly as he saluted the black fans. They stood and clapped even louder. Chester took a deep breath. Confidence. Chester crouched on defense. He looked into the eyes of the huge offensive lineman. "You've got some nerve coming here, the offensive lineman started to say. Tweet! The referee's whistle blew. The lineman stepped forward, thrusting his shoulders. With perfect timing, Chester faked a move to the right and one to the left. The player plunged, face first, into the grass, and Chester stood over him. The game went on and on. UVA had a big lead over Harvard with only seconds left. Before the UVA quarterback could complete a pass, Chester grabbed him and plunged him to the ground with a hard thud. The black fans on the Harvard sideline cheered, but the whistle blew. The game was over. Chester Pierce, with confidence, made history that day. Harvard lost, but courage stood up to adversity. That was the real victory. And here is an author's note and some facts about the game that we just read about. The next book we'll be reading is Lucy Tries Short Track, written by Lisa Bowes, illustrated by James Hearn. Hi, this is Lucy, and these are her skates. So different from hockey, but just like her mates. Ava and Claire, Racheal and Jill. Together they practice to learn this new skill. They're trying speed skating, so they skate really fast and always to the left. It's called short track. They each wear a helmet and skin suits to match, with lots of protection in case there's a crash. They go to the line. It's time for the race. Lucy's on the inside. That's the very best place. Bang goes the start gun. They're around the first turn. Lucy charges ahead, her blades ready to burn. Round, round they go. Good balance is key. Look how close they are. That's a pack, you see? They lean into each corner, hands touching the ice, on pace for a record. Now that would be nice. What a fight for the lead. They're going so fast. But just then Claire slips. She's going to crash. Claire hits the safety pads. Boom! She's out of the race. It's all right. I'm okay. It just means 5th place. Claire cheers on the rest. Now Lucy leads the pack. Can she stay in first? There's the bell. It's the last lap. She feels someone close. It's Jill, right behind. One last tight curve. Quick! There's the line. They're neck and neck, 2 skaters, 2 friends. Here's the final stride. Jill wins in the end. Way to go, Lucy says, with a hug for Claire too. Great race, Jill, she adds. I'm so happy for you. It's fun to skate fast with old friends and new. Will you try short track? It's a cool sport to do. The end. All right, that is our last book for today, and I hope you enjoyed this week's books. Next up will be Rachel, and she'll explain this week's craft to you.
Hi friends, I hope you enjoyed all the stories about sports this week for March Madness. Our craft is a basketball hoop. This is your curbside craft. So in your kit, you'll get a plastic cup, a rectangle piece of paper, a basketball sticker, which yours will probably be a larger foam sticker. I just had a tiny sticker to use as a sample. And then you'll get a straw and then a piece of Play-Doh. So the first thing I did was I drew lines on the plastic cup all around so that it looked like a basketball hoop. And then the rectangle piece of paper, I cut out a shape that looked like the backboard of a basketball hoop. So I cut that out like this, so it's kind of rounded at the top and flat on the bottom. And then I colored the edges in the middle orange. And then I stuck my basketball here, but you could stick your basketball foam sticker on the edge so it looks like it's coming out, or you could put it on up here so it looks like it's going in the hoop, however you want to do that. You could also get a ball and you can shoot it into your hoop and create a game out of it. But the first thing after I did this part and this part, in order to put them together, I taped them. So I just taped this hoop to the straw at the very top of the straw, and then I taped the backboard on the back of the straw. And then I put the straw inside of the Play-Doh, and I made sure to form around the straw so that it was really tight around it, but I also created a flat bottom so that it would stand up like this, and then I let it dry. So you want to make sure that you give it lots of time to dry so that it doesn't come out. So that's your curbside craft. And then your printable craft, you've got a piece of paper that looks like this. And so for this part right here, this is the net that you're going to cut out, and then you create a loop out of it and you tape it together in the back. And then I think tape works better than glue for this, but you could try glue as well. For your curbside craft, I would definitely use the tape because it sticks better to the straw. And then this part here is the backboard, so I taped that onto the back where where the two ends meet. And then I colored the basketball and taped it to the bottom so it looks like the basketball is going through the hoop. So there's no backboard for this one, but if you did have a straw, you could try to put that on the straw at home, or you could maybe see if you could tape it up to the wall if you ask a grown-up if you're allowed to do that, and then see if you can throw things through it. So you can make a game out of this one too. So those are your two crafts for the week, And I hope you enjoyed the stories, and we'll see you next time.